Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Horse Business. Today on the show, we're going to be speaking to Stephen. Stephen is an inspiration and somebody who I met at the London International Horse Show. Today, we're going to talk about how he went from a field to running several livery businesses, how him and his partner have built an empire in just 3 years, and he's going to give tips about how you could also do the same. Stephen,
hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you ever so much for joining me here on the podcast, Let's Talk Horse Business. And I'm excited to have a conversation because we met at London International.
We did, yes.
We did. And ever since then we've been connected on socials,
Yep.
and I'm very, very excited to dive into it. So, who are you?
Well, I'm Stephen. That's a good question. Like, who are you? I've got Parsons Cole, which is I've built Parsons Cole up from scratch, and own multiple different businesses across the board, equestrian and non-equestrian, and have lots of horses.
Horses, that's key.
Sheep. We have pigs, it's just
You don't ride those ones though.
No. Susie, Deborah and Barbara would not be happy.
Love
They're the
that.
names, and Pepper would not be happy either.
Oh, bless them.
Pepper the pig.
So Parsons Cole, for anyone who doesn't know, is your livery business?
Yeah, so it's our livery business. We're based in Hertfordshire. Started very small, and it wasn't the plan to have a livery business. It was the goal to start off with just our own. We had Rupert and Kia. We had been on a yard with our horse, and you can see things that work, that don't work, and you're kind of like, we just want to do our own thing. And everyone has that dream, don't they?
Yeah, of course.
And it just kind of snowballed, to be honest. Come have a horse, come and stay with me. It'd be nice. We go out riding. And then it transpired into multiple yards, investment into competition horses, and then breeding. So, yeah.
Wow. And how long have you been doing that for?
3 years.
3 years.
So realistically around 4. But I would say 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So to get a bit more of an understanding about, who you are.
Yeah.
You now run this multi-livery business, which is incredible in itself. But
Yeah.
how did you get there? Were you working on livery yards, or how did you get there?
Yeah. So, as a young lad, I started with the horses around 7. A friend shared a pony called Snowy. I'll never forget him.
I'm loving the names of all your animals.
Honestly, they're like human names. When I start telling you the other ones, and I just started riding him. And I'm quite fortunate to Charlie, my friend, because I wouldn't have really got into horses. So she really we were best friends. So it was really interesting how it kind of evolved from that. Shared, loaned, done the whole thing. Wanted to be an equestrian, wanted to be a farrier originally.
Okay.
Then I just done some yard work, worked on livery yards. Then when I thought, I need a break because it is quite intense and hard. I thought, where am I going with this? And then worked for the family business with my dad and my brothers.
What did they do?
Construction.
Okay.
Which is good because it gave me the skill, especially with a renovation.
Yeah.
And, we were brought up very much work. If you want something, you've got to work hard for it. And that's embedded in us very much. And then yeah, and then we just kind of went from there, really. I kind of had a dream, but didn't realize how I'm going to figure it out and what I'm going to do with that dream. Met my partner, Michael, who is also my business partner. Sometimes, yeah, it's good to have a partner as a business partner, but sometimes you want to kill each other.
I was about to say, how does that work?
But we get on really well. We complement on different aspects of what we are good at and what we're not good at. And it works well. Believe it or not, I can go home. We can have a little discussion, but we always make a rule like you leave it at the gate or at the door, and we talk about it in the office. And then,
yes, got to have boundaries in place.
You've got to have boundaries. Yeah. It's key to most of everything that you do. So I unfortunately was made redundant from a job that I temporarily was doing.
Is that before you decided to go into the livery business?
Yeah. Okay. So, and then it was kind of like, what do I do? And we had already had processed in the back of we had a bit of land and we were thinking about it for our own horses. So that's how it started. We started building with our own bit of land, moved a touring caravan on because it was the start of COVID as such.
Okay.
And we were like, we're going all in. So the dog, Sebastian, we had Michael, we had my parents. They brought their motorhome on as well.
Okay.
It was like a full-on family affair. Everyone was like in.
Yeah.
Even built the stable because you couldn't get materials.
No,
it was awful. And it was a really bad time for everyone else, obviously.
Yes.
But on the flip side, it was a time for where you kind of reflect and you're like, actually, it's now or never.
Yeah. So you saw it as an opportunity, okay, it's COVID, you can't get the materials, you're stuck there.
Yeah.
But rather than getting stuck with all those negativities, you've gone, hold on, it's now or never.
Yeah. Let's just do it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
And that's pretty much how we are.
Okay.
See the opportunity, think about it, just do it. It works or it doesn't work. There's no right or wrong in it, really. You lose some, you win some.
Yeah. Yes. And actually, there's no harm in losing some either. Like we discussed it before this. And when I say losing some, I mean things that don't go quite to plan and you have to rebound and change direction from it. There's no harm in that because that's how we then become who we become.
Absolutely. And I think it's key that you got to go through that to really establish and then rebuild again and learn from that. There's many things that I've learned. There's been tears, there's been, I don't want to do this anymore, or actually, no, I need to think about that. You've got to have it in you to really, I call it grafting.
Grafting.
I love the word grafting. Yeah. You've got graft for it.
But nothing comes without graft.
Absolutely.
Anything that comes without graft probably be lost as easily as it was given to you.
Yeah. And you've got to want it and you've got to have the passion in you to do it. Once you lose the passion, I've always said this, if I stop loving what I enjoy, then I won't do it.
Okay.
That'd be the end of it.
Literally. So you wake up one day, or it's been a series of weeks and you're not feeling this, whatever it might be, you would make that decision, right, done.
Absolutely. Because I think you need to be in a good mental health space. And you need to have the passion to go forward or to push it. You lose that passion. It happens to everyone. There's, it goes through a period of time. You do feel it, you don't feel it. But if there was I would, that's it, door shut.
I like that.
Yeah.
Most people don't have that, so that's really good.
Because all you're doing it for everyone else, realistically.
Yeah.
I stand around and I look and I think, oh my God, this is amazing. But I've built this for people to use, people to enjoy, people to be happy, enjoy their sport, be able to, push the sport a little bit more, invest in the sport a lot more, invest in the younger generation, because I'm quite key on that. So you've got to have that flair in you.
I think we'll come on to that in a minute, but obviously I've sort of derailed where we were. So
Don't worry.
So your livery hard came about through COVID.
Yeah.
You started building your first one from scratch
Yeah.
with your family
Yeah.
on a piece of land.
Yeah.
How did you go from that to multiple sites? Like,
It switched. There was a very big switch on, okay, this is personal. And then then my mind kind of was like, right, where are we going with this? Something else cropped up.
Mhm.
So it kind of changed my direction. And I thought, no, this is what I'm going to do. But I didn't tell everyone what I was doing. Poor Michael didn't know that I had already gone and viewed the place and done a walk round. And it was a kind of, Michael, we're going to do this. And he was like, oh my God. And it was a big daunting thing.
Of course.
I said, no, come on, we can do it. You know, we're a team, we're going to do it together. And that was tough. Very, very tough. More tougher than the actual building from scratch.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was a tough one.
And what was that point? Because you said that there was a point or something happened that then changed your mindset that this is going to be a business I'm going to do.
You know, when you've got the space, and you know, I've gone out and brought some mares because I wanted to breed, because that was breed my own horses. And I looked round and I thought, people are phoning me, people asking me, people want to be on the yard with me because they want me to look after their horse.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, how can I do this? Let's not go too crazy. But it just kept on happening.
Okay.
So it was like a switch, like, hold on, Stephen, you are good at this, or you know what you're doing. So let's just go with it.
Yeah.
And that's what
Okay. So it's more not circumstantial because you made that choice, but it was through regular people contacting you wanting something, and you're like, actually, I'm quite enjoying what I've started over here, and it could become something else.
Yeah. I think it was quite nice for it to start small.
Yeah.
Learn lots of different things, you know, and then go bigger and try and multiply the yards. Which worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, then it changes the whole dynamic, because then then you've got kind of like you're trying to manage multiple sites, manage people. The horses are the easy part. It's the people that are harder to manage. So yeah, it's implementing that. At one stage, I was doing the yards myself, you know, mucking out, you know, and then in between doing the building and pulling the horses in, or doing this or doing, and doing my own horses at the same time. So at one point I was doing like 40 horses in a day and traveling and making sure it worked.
And that's the definition of graft.
Yeah. And now it was tiring.
Yeah, that's tough.
So even now today, I've got a team, and, you know, they're fantastic. And I've got a yard manager, and, you know, I've got the girls. I call them the girls. They probably won't appreciate that. But I still jump in. Yeah. Days that I come down, I can muck out 10 stables with them. Like, right, what we doing? Or, you know, do you need a hand on this? Or they're not sure on something, or it's really raining. I think, oh, what an awful day. I've done mine, and I'm thinking, I'm going to go down and give them a hand, because I think, and I wouldn't let them do anything I'm not comfortable doing.
Yeah.
I will do it.
Yeah.
And then they can do it afterwards. Absolutely. So I will always do the things first before they do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put them in that position.
Pretty.
Yeah.
I like that. So there's a few points there. So how did you transition, though, from being the person like on the yard looking after the horses? Because this is a really key point. Because
oh God, that was the hard part.
Because what you've got is you've got a group of clients.
Yeah.
And I experienced it myself, and they want you. That's why they're there.
Yeah.
I want to be in your yard, please, Stephen. Okay, come. Oh, hold on a minute. I'm not running the yard anymore. I'm doing.
Yeah.
So how did you transition that?
That was really hard. That was a very difficult transition, and probably about 3 attempts.
Okay.
You feel you're pulled in, you kind of trickle a little bit back, then you're like, actually, no, because I always go by my gut. I'm not feeling that. That energy's not right. So I'm going to go back in again.
Okay.
So, and also it's key of finding that right person
Yes.
and that person to fit the business.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people need to remember it is a business. I am the person. I love the horses with all my heart, and the horses come first. They always do.
Yeah.
But I still do have a life,
Yeah.
and there is other things, and they've got that now. And I think with them, you have to have stability.
Yeah.
There was a really long transition period for me for that. More me,
More
because
you.
I
Okay.
couldn't let go.
Okay.
And I will not let go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even that my yard manager, Emma, would tell you, she's like, I'm still fully involved. I know everything that's going on.
Okay. Okay.
Even down to worm count. I know what each horse worm count is.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's not many people out there that can tell me that they know the worm count of the horses on one of their yards.
Yeah, and I know every horse's name.
Yeah.
I know what field they're in. I know what they like. I know what they don't like. I don't know about feed because their feeds change all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do know, and I know if they're off color, because I still go down. I still see, but I'm very involved still. People, some customers might think, "Oh no, he's not," and I'm like, "No, I am. Behind the scenes, I am."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's really key. And and again, that is another point that you're not always seen on the yard, and because you're doing various things, but your team know, and your livery should know that you are there as the first port of call.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. I think it's key.
So, livery yards is a huge topic at the moment.
Yeah, I know. It's like that turbulent, like everyone's like, oh no.
It's huge. It's livery yards, sales of horses, welfare of the people and the animals are what I'm seeing real big topics at the moment. So, before we move on to something really, really important that you've said, if someone else is running a livery yard or wants to run a livery yard, but is being fed this negativity that it can't happen, it can't make you money, it's, you get all the money in, but you are not earning anything, it's all spread on the horses. Is there anything you could give them or tell them as to how they could make a profitable business? Because profit isn't bad. Without the profit, people aren't going to run these businesses.
No.
And it needs to be made. So, yeah, is there anything that you could give to someone else that's running a livery or thinking about doing it?
I think, there is quite a lot of negativity. Like I see it a lot on, there's different groups, the people that, you see it. And I think stop being negative. It can work, but you need to understand what works for you because each business is different. My model probably works better for me because I've made it that model.
Yeah.
If you've got a yard with 10 horses, that might work for you and what income you want in and how you need to live your life. I've scaled up because I've got lots of horses. It's to benefit lots of different things. It's like a spider web. I said to you, people talk about the pyramid. I talk about the spider web. You've got to have different things spinning plates.
Yeah.
Some people can deal with that. Some people can't. So it depends what you want in your life and what you're happy and comfortable with doing. To make it profitable, profit's good. And I'm very much, I reinvest my profit back into the yard. So, we started off with a wheelbarrow, poo picking in the field. Made a little bit of profit, brought a quad bike. Okay, the girls, we got a quad bike to go out. I was walking, poo picking on 60 acres. That's crazy. Then we got a gator, traded that in, got a gator. So it's like you're building a platform or a building block, but don't rush because I think people automatically want profit straight away.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen like that straight away.
No. So it's fair to say if it's not going to happen like that straight away, there's only a few options, and what are those options?
And you've got to understand, like you've got, you might need a second job, or you might need a second income, or you might have to run the yard just yourself and have no other staff. It has to sustain you firstly, and if you can run that on your own, build it. You know, there's times like I had to go and do another job, to just keep the money flowing in.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. Some people sometimes are on their own. Some people are not in partners. But it's also good to network with other people, could share or go into business together.
Mm-hmm.
I think two minds is better than one.
I totally agree with that. I always actually speak to people like yourself and actually envious in one way, because you've got that extra person who not only you get to share your life with, but they also like cross-check you and double-check you. And sometimes a partnership like that doesn't work because you might not have the right personalities. As you can't really mix the relationship and the work, so you have to sort of manage that, which clearly you've done really well at. But yeah, I do agree. Having someone in with you can often make the burden less and actually make it more scalable.
Yeah, and I think also knowledge is powerful.
Yeah.
I'm key to knowledge. I would pick up the phone to someone and ask them a question. I'm not afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you something? Or I'm not too sure. Don't feel silly about it.
No.
It might work, it might not.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
It's a saying I hear a lot. You don't know what you don't know. And you're running your business how you're running it, but there might be something you don't know that someone else could give to you by having a conversation or networking.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's like, God, why didn't I think about that?
Yeah.
And you can increase your sustainability,
or
you can increase your profit through something which might not even affect your livery.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So the next thing I wanted to touch on, because it's it's another big part of a livery yard, is the team.
Yes.
Big area. And the reason, there's various reasons why this is something great I wanted to talk about, because I know a few people that are running livery yards on their own and are struggling to then scale, and the team becomes part of that. But also there's a huge churn of team because welfare issues, not getting the right pay, lack of consistent work because maybe the margins aren't there, so they're only doing 2 days or 3 days, or they're freelancing to try and fill themselves. So you must see this all the time, because you must have lots of people working for you.
I get it.
Yeah,
I 100% get it. And I don't know how it's going to change, but I think a lot of yards struggle because I know probably some people won't like this, what I'm going to say, but I do think that it's not set like corporate standard in a sense. I'm not saying that they have to wear a suit and to go muck out, but structure. We have a HR system. We have an app that's going to go live for the staff, so they can access that for the whole livery. So like Livery Live, we're going to be having that implemented to make that easier for staff wise and customer. Pay's a very big topic at the moment. Like our increases or whatever is to go towards the staff. It's nothing going to hit on our profit margin. No. I can tell you that. They work hard, and investment into them as people. You can or you can't. You can do courses. There's lots of training available everywhere. As a network, like I say, you're talking to different people, try and figure out, do they want, can they go on this course or can they do this? Like, for example, do you want to do we've got an apprentice, she's just finished. I'm like, I was a bit rocky. I was thinking, is she going to stay? Is she going to go? Because you always don't know. And she's like, no, I really like where I am. And we're going to put her through more training, but we're going to support her on that. The same with another girl. We're going to support her through that training. They want more training. Whatever you want, we'll see if we can do it and we'll throw it at you.
Yes.
Pay is I think the welfare of the individual. Some people are flaky.
Yes.
Some people think that the industry that you just come in, it's just poo picking or mucking out and grab 15 or 20 quid an hour. It's an easy, quick job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's actually a profession for some people.
Yes.
And I think we need to streamline that around. It's that people can progress through the
Yeah.
ranks.
There's definitely that perception out there that
Yeah.
it's not
And
something you can progress in.
it's, you've got a lot of people want to do it for 5 minutes
Mm-hmm.
and then realize that it's actually hard. And it's not actually hard in the sense of things.
Mm.
And then there's some people that are really dedicated and they've got like passion.
Yes.
The passion is for the animal. The passion is for coming to work. They enjoy their job. I think if you create an environment and have a welcoming environment, because some places and, some situations, there's quite like, people talk and different things. They're not right.
No.
They're not treated right.
Mm.
And it needs to be corporate.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense in that way? Like,
Yes.
I do think you need to have a structure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it works very well. Everyone knows where they are. Everyone knows what they're being paid. Everyone knows that they've got progression or no progression. Or they can go on to different training avenues. Or, I've got a staff member who wants to be a rider.
Yeah.
I'm like, great. I love it. Like, if you're hungry and you want it, I'm like, great. And I just sit back and watch how they develop and how they ask and want to do different things. So I'm fortunate because I've bred and I've got young stock that are ready to come through. They're being backed. I'm going to give that to each staff member to have a horse, and they're going to ride that horse, and we're going to support them through that.
Yeah.
That's a really big incentive. They want to be a rider and they want to that's great. We'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. That definitely isn't the norm out there.
No, it's not the norm, and I don't do things normally.
Well.
But I just think the opportunity, I never got that opportunity. I would have loved to sit on some horses, but you were just down there.
Yeah.
Or, you couldn't come in the office, or you couldn't. My door is always open, heating's on, kettle's on, whatever you want. They ask me, oh, can I get a new fork, or I need a new wheelbarrow, or I need this. I'm like, sure, just order it. If I can do it, I will do it. If I can't, you're going to have to wait.
Yeah.
It's just simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes real it's clear and it makes sense.
I think if you're clear
Yeah.
and down the line, and also I explain a lot of business terms to the staff.
Okay.
So they understand why that decisions are made.
All right. Yeah.
Because sometimes you get a bit like, oh, they've been, why? Why is that? Or that's not right. Or I'm not doing that. And then I actually explain it to them. And I give them costs and I give them breakdowns. So they're involved. They're involved in the business. They understand it. They understand the decision why I'm making that. So I don't wake up one morning and think, do you know what, we're going to change that today. It's because I don't.
No.
I have to make it adapt, and I do it so you've all got a job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose there's a couple of schools of thought around the teams and the staff, though. So obviously, I know there'll be some liveries out there that will say, some livery yard owners out there that will say, oh, I just can't keep staff. I offer them everything and they don't want it. All they've got to do is muck out 10 stables and poo pick them in 3 hours, and I just can't keep the staff. What do you say to them?
I think you need to look at your core and what is it you're offering. I know you're offering mucking out, and it comes down to that individual person, doesn't it? That's going to apply for it. Yeah, I think you just need to have a good look at what do you actually want, what is working, what didn't work with the last person, what didn't work for the other one. Try and mold something that would be a little bit more incentive for them. Because I don't think everyone wants to muck out a stable every day for the rest of their life.
No.
Let's be real about it. They want to sit on a horse, have a bit of riding. They want to have a bit of responsibility.
Yes. Yeah.
And I get with the freelancers, and I get it's hard to get someone full time.
But do you think we end up in the cycle because the livery yard owners don't want to pay what maybe people should nowadays be worth?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I agree. I think we're in a modern age now. If I told you how much I was getting paid back when I was younger, it's crazy. And even I look at it now and I think it's a bit crazy.
Yeah.
And even when some people do come to me for interviews or, positions or anything we have available, and they're like, oh, I'm being paid this. No. I said, go away and have a look and then come back to me.
Okay.
Because we're not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a fine line,
Yeah.
isn't there?
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I think the industry needs to really think about really not underpaying and having staff just as, grooms. I hate the word grooms. I hate it.
Yeah.
I call them team members.
Yeah.
I think it needs to change.
Yeah.
The whole naming, the whole image of it needs to change.
Okay.
That's
what would you call it then?
Like when you look at a job, when you someone's, I don't know, you look at a job title. I don't like it when someone calls me a director. Hate it. I'm not a director. I'm just, or business owner. Like great, whatever. But not. I don't know, like team member.
Yeah, team. Yeah.
I think I don't know. Something that is not a groom just sounds so. I know it's tradition and everyone's said groom.
Yes.
And they're head girl or they're head girl's okay. I don't mind head girl.
Yeah. It's basically some sort of term which is empowering the individual.
Yes.
Rather than just like, you're just a groom or you're just a yard hand.
Oh, yeah. It really gets under my skin.
Yeah. They're not just anything. They're there to do us a service and we're there to look after them as well.
Do you go into for example, so it's like if they're going to, I don't know, Sainsbury's.
Okay.
Or go to, I don't know, B&M or something.
Yeah.
They're called team assistants or assistants.
Mm-hmm.
That it's the same sort of concept.
Yeah.
They're in a job.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not the same job, obviously. People are going to kill me or shoot me. What is he on about? They're like, being at B&M. But it's the whole, you get what I'm saying.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely.
I just think it needs to change.
Yeah.
And I think we need to think about structure a little bit more and progression.
Structure and progression.
Absolutely. And giving the younger opportunity to go and ride or get onto that level. Because when they're at the top, it's hard. Top horses and trying to get them horses or trying to get on the ride or they miss out on it. You see it quite a lot.
Very tough. It is very tough.
I love it if someone comes to me and they're like, I've got an opportunity, or I'm thinking, I'm always navigating, thinking, is someone needing a little break there?
Yeah. Ah, good. So, but do you think that we have this issue with teams and people? Because the people that would come and work in that environment, whether freelance or as a groom, but not a groom because you don't like the term.
I don't like it. It's horrible.
But are we I'm now one of those people.
Yeah.
And we're very much in a digital era now.
Mm-hmm.
So are we finding livery yards finding it harder to find the people because the people also don't think that they want to be mucking out horses on a yard?
Yeah. I think generally, yeah. I think people
nowadays don't want to work like we once did.
I tell you, I have this conversation all the time, even with some of my older teams, and we would, you do 40 boxes, and then you'll go and have lunch at 12.
Yeah.
That was the norm, or down the pub.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people don't want to work as hard. the generation don't want to work as hard and graft as much. A lot social, people want to become influencers, or want to do this kind of sort of thing.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But then there's not enough coming through, like the colleges, and the apprenticeship side. There's not enough flowing.
Yeah. Okay. I think apprenticeships is really key for this changing era, the way the world is changing at the moment, compared to colleges.
I agree. I agree with their apprenticeships more.
Because I think colleges and the education system is very much industrial era teaching, if I was going to say it like that, as to quote Daniel Priestley, who I was listening to this morning.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm really thinking about the team. That's why I thought it was great to discuss it, because how do we navigate that? Giving them a great environment, the structure, benefits of riding the horses, that will go so far. But if this industry, if the world continues to shift towards digital, what is the livery space going to do to still attract some people in? I know there'll always be someone that would love to do that sort of job. But is there anything else that we could be doing?
That's a good question, really, isn't it?
I think it's a big question.
It's a big question. I think that's a big question across the whole industry, really.
Yeah.
Not just in livery. Yeah. I don't know. Moving forward with it, I'm not sure how, but there's something we need to change dramatically.
I think naturally it will start to change, depending on how the world goes, because none of us really know. But I think what we need to do is start off with what is actually quite a basic corporate setup, like you said.
Yeah.
So just providing structure, creating the correct materials, processes, and systems for teams to use.
And even like resources, like to it, like, they're able to go back and read if they need any, they're not sure on something legally. Yeah. What's their rights, holiday entitlement sort of thing. If they've got a problem with a member of team, me, they can report it to someone it's governed a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes, you can't. I remember times I couldn't go and talk to a particular boss or say something, because then you're worried that it will jeopardize your job.
Yes.
Yeah. So structure in that sense works well.
Okay.
I think that's my personal look onto it. That's where I think there needs to be, you need to have a system in place.
Okay.
To look after them. And you
as well. Like, don't ever forget you.
Yeah, you've got to look after your business.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So you mentioned that you might be doing some price increases across your businesses.
Yeah.
Lots has changed. We've had budgets.
Yep.
We've had increasing costs.
Yeah.
So on one of my previous episodes, I did some tips on increasing prices, just from open communication with your customers. And so, but how do you navigate that process? Because there'll be many people that are struggling with how to navigate that.
So I'm a bit key. Like, I like to give 2 months. I don't do this month before. I like to give them enough notice, but it's generally spoken about, communicated while on the yard, and then the formal letters go out. So they're aware, and then they can process it. They can think about, it might work for them, it might not. And I get it. I 100% get it. Things have gone up for me. Wage bills, national insurance, you've got PAYE, we pay for them. We have some bank staff, we have freelancers as well. So we have like a multiple pool.
Yeah.
But I also got to make sure that they're looked after. That doesn't go in my profit.
Doesn't it?
No, like, meaning the staff increases and the livery increase, that's going towards my staff increases.
I didn't say it as though I didn't believe you. I'm saying it as though people will probably go, really?
Yeah, but but then it goes on the flip side. how are you going to retain and keep your staff?
Yeah.
How are you going to look after them?
Mm.
You know, okay, yeah, I've got a lovely business, and you know they can see multiple boxes and they think, oh, that's how much you charge a month, and that that's another. Oh, you get that each month. I go, I wish.
That's the same in the transport business.
Yeah,
you get that.
Yeah.
Like break that down. I get this.
Yeah, let's just go down a little fine line here.
Exactly.
And if it goes down to it, for you to have the welfare of your horse looked after, and to the standard of how I like it, which I like things to be done properly, you're gonna you don't go to a hotel and go half board, full board. It's the same concept, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're staying in a hotel, but you've got to pay for that stay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. No, that's a really good point about the pricing, though. I have it all the time.
Oh, it's sometimes I see things online and I think, oh, and everyone's like, oh, the pricing, and I'm just thinking, just do it. Stop, because you keep worrying about, oh, this. If a box is empty, you should really have a golden number. Every yard, how big or how small, should have a golden number.
Yeah.
So if they go, someone will always fill it.
Yeah.
That's my approach to it. I'm not going to stress, say, if there's 2, 3, 4, 5, like it will always be filled.
Yeah. But I think it's important to then do your numbers to your golden number.
Absolutely.
And if you don't know what that golden number is, do an exercise where you test it out, 3, 7, 10 boxes and see what looks.
And there's so many resources online, like the Livery list. Absolutely amazing. When I first started out, I was, helped. So I read some of the resources and stuff, and we've then implemented our own structure of how things go. But there's so much to hand now for yard owners and to use.
And is that how you got started, or did you have someone like helping you through the process, or was it just literally you did your research, you implemented it along with your partner?
Yeah. We're very much in house. How we do things. Yeah.
No, I like that. So we talked about your livery.
Oh God.
No, I just for the viewers at the start, we said you've got a few different businesses.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
I'm sorry.
I know I've had a conversation with you before this, and I'm like, wow, I thought I was busy.
He needs a Bacardi.
So the livery is your main business. How does it work? You've got a few businesses. Is it literally like you're both running them together? And how do those businesses come and sort of, do they help each other? How does that work?
Yeah, they complement each other in a sense. So, some things do cross over that help support, meaning, like staff-wise, or support, meaning resource, admin, help, support, and then same vice versa. It swings in both roundabouts. But we're functionally, that's on its own. We separate it.
Okay.
There's no mixing.
Yeah.
I don't mix all the businesses, meaning together.
Okay.
Because that doesn't work.
Right.
That's on its own identity. That has its own team. That has its own structure. That has its own structure. The other one has its own structure.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
But top wise, meaning like management, okay, we have someone that helps with admin and, that will help, but helps across the board.
Yeah, right, okay. Yeah.
Keeps, like I said, the spider web helps me knit that little one together because I'm doing this little thing here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's all about people.
It is.
There's something I'm thinking about this conversation. It's all about people. Not only is it the liveries of people, it's the people sat at the top, sort of helping with the administration of everything.
Yeah. And I think that's the key. That is the key thing, is people. And some days we can wake up, some days it could be this, some days it can be different. And that's why I've had to come away a little bit from the livery.
Yeah.
Because I've had to concentrate or give attention to something else a little bit more. So
yeah.
For the whole concept. Yeah.
3 years. 3 years and all of this.
Yeah.
Did you think you'd be doing this 3 years ago?
No. I laugh. I know it's not funny, but I do giggle a lot because I think I was like driving the other day to Nortonbury. which is the yard, and I was like, God, I was like just working like 9 till 5, and then I'd finish. And we laugh about it sometimes because we're like, oh, I wish I actually do sometimes think I would quite happily go back to doing a 9 to 5
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have the stress. You don't
No.
have, I'm always thinking or pre-planning. So I always pre-plan a year ahead on
Okay.
things.
Mm-hmm.
I pre-plan 6 months. I have things that are going on. Even the team don't know that I'm sorting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm always 5 steps. My friends would tell you if we're sitting there and we're having coffee or whatever, they're like, oh, what's going on now?
Yeah.
But you just got to keep going, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I've been at a bit of a point in my business where, again, I'm thinking 5 years. Well, at the start of that business, I was 5-year plan. Then lots of things have happened up and downs due to life.
Yeah.
And then again, very recently, over all my businesses, it's been like, right, where are these ones going? Is it how long am I going to keep going for, or what am I going to do to take it to the next stage? And it's a constant.
I don't ever put a number
Mm-hmm.
or a year on it, because I think when you set yourself at 5 years, or there has been certain points where we've set ourselves goals,
Mm-hmm.
things change dramatically. Like it's like a wavy little road. And I think it's like someone always says to us, when are you going to retire? I never will retire.
Someone's asked you when you're going to retire.
Yeah. And I said, I'm 32. Like I've got years ahead of me. I wouldn't even retire.
No.
Because I
enjoy it.
You're probably the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're like,
absolutely.
you love the buzz of it.
Yeah.
Or what next?
I mean, yes, I've got the vision of how I would like my life to look.
Yeah.
But that doesn't include retirement. It just means that things are well managed and looking after and doing
Absolutely.
their thing.
And you can still, but people have the concept of retirement. I'm thinking, no way. No way.
No, definitely
I'll be
not.
running around somewhere doing something.
Yeah,
because
definitely. That brings us on to a great point, sort of to head towards the end now. What is next for you?
Well,
You've set your livery yards up. You got your other businesses, property, and other interests.
Yeah.
So, is there something you can share with us about your next steps, or what your next vision is? Is it another livery yard?
Maybe not. I'm quite good at keeping my cards close to my chest in that sense. Horses wise, I've got some really lovely young horses that are coming, like being backed.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some lovely competition horses, one with Megan Ingham, Lamadale. We call him Lammy. Yeah, he's really soft, but he's lovely. Like again, I treat him like a baby.
Yeah.
But we've taken our time with him.
Yeah.
And hopefully, so the aim and the goal is we'll have something on international circuit.
Okay.
The same with the youngsters, get them up through the training like we would do, push the horses through. Some horses make it, some horses don't.
Yeah.
But it's down to them.
Mm.
If they can or they can't, that's fine.
Yeah.
There's no pressure around on the horse. People are like, have your horse been out on competition yet? I said, no, because we're taking our time, and it's if it fits for him right now. They've got years ahead.
It's so refreshing to hear.
I just don't, because so many push because they want to be at the top. We'll get to the top, but it might just be one horse we get to the top, or I might not. I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As long as the horse is fit and healthy. They're my main concern.
Yeah. And
their well-being.
Yeah.
We are key about that. Very key. But I don't know. There's always things going on. There's always different things happening. Like I don't know. Yeah. There probably will. And we'll probably maybe have a chat again in 6 months or a year time, and you'll probably think, oh my God, what's he doing now?
I feel like you're putting me to shame. I thought I was doing a lot, but you're rocketing off there. I love it.
But I just think grab it.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself. That's the key thing.
Mm-hmm.
Believe in yourself. If you feel, you can't do that, you can. Yeah. I've gone from mucking out stables to, running a successful business. So not just stables. I stack shelves, you know,
Yeah.
done odd jobs, little jobs, like to try and build and make that work.
Yeah.
You can do it. And
Mm.
I like the people that, there's probably someone out there that's thinking, oh, I really want to do that. You can.
Mm.
Believe in yourself, network, and ask the question.
That's a great point to end on.
Thank you.
I think mindset is something we haven't spoken about,
No.
but it comes up on most of my podcasts
Yeah.
because people do not believe in themselves.
No. And I'll be truthful. I didn't.
Mm.
I went through a period where I was like, I don't know, I can't do that, you know, or too many negative people, you know, got too much to say, whatever. Like, I actually don't care. But now it's quite refreshing because I look at, you know, general day to day and I think I've done it. I'm okay with that. If you're okay with that, great. You're doing it for you. You're not doing it for, I don't know, Bill, Ben down the road.
Yeah.
Because they think that they're like international top riders, but they're not,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
They're very good to, I'm not saying I am, but people are very quick to judge and very quick to rip different parts about you. But they're not doing it, are they?
Exactly.
So, get out of the lane.
Get out of the lane. Believe in yourself.
Yeah, if you want to get on that train, get on it. If you don't, jump off.
Jump off.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah. And life is so, I was about to say life is quite long. Life is short.
Yeah.
Life is short. So don't be afraid to make educated moves and then go back a step because it wasn't right for you.
Yeah. You fail. Perfect.
Yeah.
You've gone back 4 or 5 steps. Brilliant. Not everyone, like, I'm not going to sit here and say it was plain sailing because it really isn't. And it still isn't. Always going back. And I think I call it the shuffle. You know, you've got to do a little dance. You know what I mean? A little shimmy with it. And you've got a bit of music to it, you know. You've got to enjoy it. But don't worry you failed. You haven't. No. I hate the word failure.
Yeah.
Because you never fail.
No.
You never do.
Always learn.
Always learn. And knowledge.
Brilliant.
Very powerful.
No, well, thank you ever so much for joining me.
Thank you.
It's been amazing. And if anyone wants to get hold of you, I don't know if you publicly, do you have yourself on the public domain?
Yes.
Yeah, if anyone wants to get hold of you or talk about livery or just get in touch because they want to be on your livery yard, how can they do that?
They can either contact on the Facebook group, Parsons Cole, or I am on Instagram. So, yeah.
Brilliant.
And there is a number on the page. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks.